Imagine standing in a room filled with silence, feeling the weight of loneliness pressing against your chest. For a woman with no friends, the world can appear as an endless stretch of disconnection, each day a reminder of isolation. Yet, is this aloneness truly what it seems? The illusion of isolation is one of the greatest challenges we face when navigating loneliness. It convinces us that we are cut off from the world, adrift in a sea of disconnection, and unworthy of belonging. For a woman with no friends, this perception can feel overwhelming, as though the lack of visible relationships confirms an unbridgeable gap between herself and others. But is this isolation as real as it seems? Or is it a trick of the mind, a construct of how we view the world and ourselves? From the moment we are born, we are woven into the fabric of existence. The air we breathe has passed through countless lungs, the water we drink has flowed through rivers and oceans, and the light that warms our skin has traveled across the universe. Everything in life is interconnected, moving together in a rhythm that we often fail to notice. Yet when feelings of loneliness arise, they distort this truth, narrowing our vision until all we see is separation. We forget that our very existence is tied to everything and everyone around us, whether we realize it or not. When you look closer, you may begin to see that isolation is not the absence of connection, but a momentary blindness to it. The friendships you long for, the community you seek, and the love you crave are not distant, they are already a part of you. The universe itself is in constant dialogue with you through the beauty of nature, the kindness of strangers, and the quiet presence of your own breath. The key is to shift your focus from what is missing to what is already present. This shift begins with recognizing that loneliness is a feeling, not a fact. It is an emotion that arises from the stories we tell ourselves. I am alone, nobody understands me, I don't belong. These stories, while powerful, are not the whole truth. They are interpretations shaped by past experiences, fears, and unmet expectations. To overcome the illusion of isolation, you must challenge these stories by asking, is this really true? And what connections am I overlooking? For instance, consider the small, often unnoticed interactions in your day: a smile from a stranger, a brief conversation with a coworker, or the simple act of sharing space with others in a cafe or park. These moments, though fleeting, are threads of connection. They remind us that we are part of a larger tapestry of humanity, even if we don't always feel it. Moreover, loneliness can be a catalyst for deepening your connection with yourself. When you stop resisting the feeling and instead sit with it, you may discover a profound sense of clarity. Ask yourself, what am I truly longing for? Often the answer is not merely companionship, but understanding, acceptance, and love. These qualities can begin to grow from within when you allow yourself to be present with your emotions rather than running from them. The illusion of isolation also begins to fade when you expand your definition of connection. Friendship is not confined to other people. You can find companionship in the natural world, the trees that sway in the wind, the sun that rises each morning without fail, and the earth that supports your every step. These are not just background elements of life, they are part of the same intricate web of existence that you belong to. Finally, remember that the journey out of loneliness is not about erasing the feeling, but understanding it. When you see loneliness not as a verdict on your worth, but as an experience to explore, it loses its power to define you. You are not separate from the world, you are a vital part of it, as necessary to the whole as the stars are to the sky. The more you embrace this truth, the more the illusion of isolation begins to dissolve, revealing a life rich with connection in ways you may never have imagined. Solitude often carries a stigma, seen as something to be avoided or escaped. Yet, when approached with curiosity and openness, it transforms into one of life's greatest teachers. For a woman with no friends, solitude is not just a circumstance, but an opportunity to turn inward and explore the depths of her own being. It is in this quiet space, away from the noise of others' opinions and expectations, that the truest understanding of oneself can begin to unfold. At first, solitude can feel like a heavy weight, amplifying feelings of emptiness and unworthiness. But these emotions are not signs of failure, they are invitations to examine what lies beneath the surface. When you sit with your solitude, you create a space where emotions, thoughts, and memories can rise to the forefront. These moments, though uncomfortable, are where growth begins. They reveal the patterns and beliefs that shape your inner world, allowing you to question their validity and decide which ones you want to carry forward. Solitude teaches us to listen not just to the sounds of the world, but to the whispers of our own soul. In the stillness, you begin to hear the questions that often go unanswered. Who am I beyond my roles and relationships? What truly brings me joy? What fears hold me back? These are not questions that others can answer for you. They are the ones that only you can explore. Solitude gives you the time and space to engage in this exploration without distraction, offering clarity and insight that can guide your path forward. There is also a profound strength that emerges from learning to be alone. When you are comfortable in your own company, you become less dependent on external validation and more grounded in your own sense of worth. This doesn't mean you no longer desire connection or friendship. It means that your sense of self is no longer tied to whether or not those connections are present. This independence creates a foundation of resilience, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with a sense of inner stability. Solitude also reveals the richness of the present moment. Without the constant chatter of social interactions, you can fully immerse yourself in the here and now. You may notice the way sunlight dances through the leaves, the intricate patterns of raindrops on a window, or the warmth of a cup of tea in your hands. These small moments, often overlooked, are where life's beauty resides. By learning to appreciate them, you cultivate a sense of gratitude and wonder that can ease the ache of loneliness. Furthermore, solitude provides the freedom to pursue your passions and interests without compromise. It is a time to rediscover the things that light you up: reading, painting, writing, gardening, or simply daydreaming. These activities are not just distractions from loneliness, they are acts of self-expression and creativity that reconnect you with the joy of being alive. They remind you that your value is not determined by others, but by the fullness with which you embrace your own existence. In the end, solitude is not something to fear or fight against. It is a natural part of life, just as necessary as connection. When you stop seeing it as a void and start embracing it as a teacher, it becomes a source of strength, clarity, and inspiration. It shows you that even in the absence of friends, you are never truly alone. You have yourself, the world around you, and the infinite possibilities that each new moment brings. Through solitude, you learn to befriend yourself, to find comfort in your own presence, and to see the beauty in your own uniqueness. It is a path not of isolation, but of self-discovery, leading you to a deeper understanding of who you are and the life you are meant to create. Solitude, when embraced, becomes a gift, a doorway to a richer, more meaningful existence. Negative feelings, such as loneliness, sadness, or self-doubt, often seem overwhelming, like heavy storms that threaten to linger indefinitely. But their nature is not fixed, they are transient, passing through us like clouds across the sky. To overcome their hold, we must first understand their impermanence and the role they play in our lives. These emotions, though uncomfortable, are not enemies, they are signals, reflections of our inner world, urging us to pay attention to what needs care, healing, or change. When a negative feeling arises, it often feels all-encompassing. In that moment, it's easy to believe that this feeling defines you, that it is permanent, or that it has the power to dictate your worth. But emotions are not static, they are dynamic, shaped by our thoughts, circumstances, and perceptions. Just as joy, excitement, and contentment come and go, so too do sadness, fear, and loneliness. Recognizing this helps create space between you and the emotion, allowing you to observe it rather than being consumed by it. One way to understand the transient nature of emotions is to imagine them as visitors knocking on your door. Some visitors are pleasant, bringing laughter and warmth, while others carry discomfort or pain. Regardless of who arrives, your role is not to chase them away or cling to them, but to acknowledge their presence and allow them to leave when their time is up. Negative feelings, like unwelcome guests, often linger only as long as we resist them. When you accept their presence without judgment, you strip them of the power they hold over you. This practice of acceptance begins with awareness. When you feel overwhelmed by negative emotions, pause and take a moment to notice what is happening within you. Where do you feel the emotion in your body? Is it a tightness in your chest, a heaviness in your shoulders, or a knot in your stomach? By focusing on the physical sensations rather than the stories your mind attaches to the feeling, you can ground yourself in the present moment. This helps you observe the emotion as it is rather than being swept away by it. Once you acknowledge the emotion, it's important to give yourself permission to feel it fully. Society often teaches us to suppress or deny negative feelings, labeling them as weaknesses or flaws. But emotions are not moral, they are simply human. By allowing yourself to feel sadness, anger, or loneliness without shame, you honor your own experience. You remind yourself that it's okay to be vulnerable, that these feelings are not a reflection of failure, but a natural part of life. Another key to navigating negative feelings is understanding that they often carry messages. Loneliness may be pointing you toward a deeper need for connection, not just with others, but also with yourself. Sadness may signal a need for rest, reflection, or healing. Fear might be urging you to confront something you've been avoiding. By listening to these emotions with curiosity instead of resistance, you can uncover the wisdom they offer. As you practice this, it's helpful to remember that emotions, like clouds, are shaped by the winds of your thoughts. Negative feelings often persist because we feed them with stories, "I am not good enough, nobody cares about me," or "this will never get better." These thoughts act like anchors, keeping the emotions in place. By challenging these stories, asking whether they are true or whether they are simply habitual patterns, you can begin to shift the winds, allowing the clouds to move on. Finally, cultivating self-compassion is essential in working with negative feelings. Treat yourself as you would a dear friend who is struggling with kindness, patience, and understanding. Remind yourself that it's okay to have difficult days and that no feeling is permanent. By creating a safe and nurturing inner environment, you make it easier to weather the storms of emotion and emerge stronger on the other side. Negative feelings are not obstacles to overcome, but waves to ride, storms to endure, and lessons to learn. They remind us of our humanity, our capacity to feel deeply, and our ability to grow. By seeing them for what they are, temporary and transformative, you reclaim your power and step into a greater sense of peace and resilience. In the absence of external friendships, the most profound and transformative relationship you can cultivate is the one with yourself. Befriending yourself is not merely a consolation prize, it is a foundation for a richer, more fulfilling life. When you treat yourself with compassion, patience, and understanding, you create a safe and nurturing inner environment that sustains you, even when external connections feel out of reach. It begins with how you speak to yourself. Far too often, we become our own harshest critics, berating ourselves for perceived shortcomings or failures. These inner judgments amplify feelings of isolation, reinforcing the belief that we are unworthy of love or connection. But what if, instead of criticism, you offered yourself kindness? Imagine how you would comfort a close friend who is struggling. You wouldn't belittle or shame them, you would listen, empathize, and remind them of their worth. This same care is what you must extend to yourself. Self-compassion is not about ignoring your flaws or denying your pain, it's about recognizing your humanity. Everyone faces struggles, makes mistakes, and experiences loneliness. These challenges don't make you less deserving of love, they make you human. When you embrace this truth, you free yourself from the impossible standard of perfection and allow yourself to grow. You begin to see your worth as inherent, not dependent on others' validation or approval. As you build this inner friendship, it's important to spend time truly getting to know yourself. Solitude provides a unique opportunity to explore who you are beyond the roles you play or the expectations placed upon you. What are your passions? What brings you joy? What values guide your decisions? These questions often go unanswered when life is busy with social obligations and external distractions. By turning inward, you discover the rich complexity of your own personality, interests, and dreams. Befriending yourself also means honoring your needs. This requires tuning into your emotions and physical sensations, recognizing what you truly need in any given moment. If you're tired, give yourself permission to rest. If you're feeling disconnected, engage in activities that bring you a sense of peace or creativity, such as journaling, walking in nature, or listening to music. These acts of self-care are not indulgences, they are essential practices that strengthen your bond with yourself. One of the most powerful aspects of self-compassion is its ability to transform loneliness into a sense of wholeness. When you rely solely on others for emotional support, your well-being becomes tied to their availability and presence. But when you cultivate an inner ally, you realize that you are never truly alone. You carry within you a source of love, comfort, and encouragement that cannot be taken away. This realization doesn't replace the need for external friendships, but enriches your capacity to connect with others from a place of strength rather than desperation. Practicing gratitude for your own qualities is another way to deepen this relationship. Take time to reflect on the things you appreciate about yourself, your kindness, resilience, creativity, or sense of humor. These are the traits that make you unique and valuable, regardless of whether others recognize them. By acknowledging and celebrating your own strengths, you reinforce your self-worth and shift your focus away from perceived shortcomings. Lastly, remember that building a friendship with yourself is a lifelong journey, not a destination. Just as with any relationship, there will be moments of doubt, frustration, or disappointment. But these moments are opportunities to recommit to yourself, to show up with even greater patience and care. Each small act of kindness you extend to yourself strengthens the foundation of trust and love that sustains you. When you become your own friend, you create a sanctuary within a place where you feel seen, understood, and valued. This inner friendship radiates outward, influencing how you engage with the world and inviting more meaningful connections into your life. It reminds you that even in the absence of external friendships, you are enough. You are whole, and you are deserving of all the beauty and joy life has to offer. Loneliness often arises from a sense of disconnection. But this feeling is amplified when we are trapped in the past or consumed by worries about the future. The present moment, however, holds an antidote to this isolation. Engaging with the here and now allows us to break free from the mental loops that reinforce loneliness and reveals the richness and beauty that life offers at every moment. Negative feelings thrive in the spaces where our thoughts wander unchecked. When you dwell on past experiences, friendships that have faded, moments of rejection, or decisions you regret, it's easy to feel weighed down by sadness or longing. Similarly, when you project into the future, imagining a life filled with continued isolation, fear and anxiety can take root. These mental habits not only intensify loneliness, but also distract you from what is real and immediate, the present. The present moment is the only place where life truly happens. It is where your breath rises and falls, where your heart beats steadily, and where the world unfolds around you. When you shift your focus to this moment, you step out of the stories your mind is spinning and into a reality that is alive, dynamic, and full of possibility. This doesn't mean the pain of loneliness disappears, but it becomes less overwhelming when you ground yourself in what is real, rather than what is imagined or remembered. One way to anchor yourself in the present is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the here and now with curiosity and without judgment. It involves noticing the sensations in your body, the sounds around you, or the texture of the emotions you are feeling. For instance, if loneliness arises, you might observe how it feels in your chest or stomach, its intensity, or how it ebbs and flows. By observing it without labeling it as good or bad, you create a space where the emotion can exist without consuming you. Another way to engage with the present moment is to immerse yourself in simple, everyday activities. Washing the dishes, for example, becomes an act of mindfulness when you focus on the warmth of the water, the feel of the soap bubbles, or the rhythm of your movements. Walking outside offers an opportunity to notice the sensation of your feet meeting the ground, the sound of leaves rustling in the breeze, or the colors of the sky at sunset. These moments, though ordinary, are profound when you give them your full attention. Loneliness often convinces us that our lives are empty or meaningless, but the present moment tells a different story. It reminds us that life is composed of countless small, beautiful details waiting to be noticed. The way light filters through a window, the taste of a freshly brewed cup of tea, or the way your favorite song makes you feel, all of these are connections to life itself. By appreciating these details, you cultivate a sense of gratitude and wonder that counters the narrative of lack. In this space, loneliness begins to lose its grip. You realize that while the past may hold sadness and the future may be uncertain, the present is enough. It is where you breathe, where you feel, and where you have the power to create a life that feels meaningful and whole. When you learn to embrace the present moment, you discover a profound sense of connection not just to the world around you, but to yourself and the boundless possibilities within. Connection is a fundamental human need, but it doesn't always have to take the traditional form of friendships or social gatherings. For a woman without friends, the journey toward connection can be reimagined, reaching beyond the conventional to embrace the world in new and unexpected ways. This connection exists all around us, often in places we overlook. When we expand our perspective, we realize that we are already part of a web of life, intertwined with people, nature, and the universe in ways that are subtle yet profound. Another source of connection lies in the small, everyday interactions with strangers. A smile exchanged with someone at the grocery store, a brief conversation with a neighbor, or even a shared laugh over an unexpected moment. These interactions, though fleeting, carry the essence of connection. They remind you that you are seen, acknowledged, and part of the shared experience of being human. While they may not replace deeper friendships, they offer glimpses of the mutual understanding and kindness that bind us together. Creative expression is yet another powerful avenue for connection. When you engage in activities like writing, painting, playing music, or crafting, you tap into a universal language that transcends words. Creativity allows you to express your emotions, tell your story, and share a part of yourself with the world, even if no one else is immediately present. Art, in any form, connects you to the vast community of creators past, present, and future who have used their craft to explore and celebrate the human experience. It also connects you to yourself, providing an outlet for self-discovery and healing. Books, films, and other forms of storytelling can also serve as bridges to connection. Through these mediums, you can immerse yourself in the thoughts, experiences, and emotions of others, feeling less alone in your journey. A well-told story can transport you to a place where you recognize your own struggles and joys in the lives of its characters, reminding you that the threads of human experience are universal. In this way, even solitary activities like reading can foster a sense of shared understanding and empathy. Technology offers additional opportunities for connection, even for those who may not have friends in their immediate environment. Online communities, forums, and social media platforms allow people to find others who share their interests, values, or challenges. While these digital interactions may differ from face-to-face connections, they can still provide meaningful support and companionship. Whether through joining a group centered around a hobby, participating in a discussion about personal growth, or simply sharing a kind word with someone across the world, technology creates new possibilities for connection. Perhaps the most transformative connection is the one you cultivate with life itself. This means finding meaning and purpose in your existence, even when external relationships are sparse. It might involve volunteering your time to help others, practicing gratitude for the simple joys in life, or dedicating yourself to a cause that resonates deeply with you. These acts of engagement remind you that your life has value and that you are part of something larger than yourself. Connection is not limited to the people you know. It is a state of being, a way of relating to the world. By opening yourself to these diverse forms of connection, you begin to see that you are never truly alone. You are part of an intricate, ever-changing web of life, one that holds you in ways both seen and unseen. This realization transforms the experience of loneliness, showing you that connection is always available if only you choose to embrace it.